Hey everybody, we're going to start having a lot more fun around here. I know it's been scary and weird and strange and bewildering, this whole thing that's going on with the pandemic, but we can't let it make us stop having fun. So, starting today, we're going to start having a little bit more fun around here. I'm really excited about Ed Robertson calling in today from the Barenaked Ladies. I've known Ed for over 20 years. Back when I was a kid in my rap group, Organized Rhyme, we got to know the Barenaked Ladies a little bit. They let us open for them, which was an incredible experience for us. I mean, they were playing the football stadium in Ottawa, and we weren't even out of high school yet. So it was really cool to talk to him, to connect with him today. We have a chat about what's going on in Canada with the coronavirus COVID-19 outbreak. Before we talk to Ed, though, I'd just like to say thank you to everybody who's been tuning into my Instagram stories and been calling into the show and listening to the podcast. Yesterday's episode was a Talk to You episode. If you want to call in and talk to Tom and I talk to you, the way you do that, if you listen to yesterday's episode, you'll kind of see how it goes. It's a lot of fun. It's just a freestyle phone-in talk show jam. And if you want to call in the next time I do it, all you have to do is pay attention to my Instagram story, and when I go live and hold up a phone number, and I'm sitting in front of a camera and a microphone, usually that means that it's on. We're taking calls for the podcast. So we'll be doing more of that soon, and we're going to have more fun around here and loosen up a little bit. Here's a fun conversation I had earlier today with the amazing and legendary Ed Robertson of the Barenaked Ladies. Hello, Ed.
Tom Green.
Oh my gosh, how are you, Ed? So good to talk to you. Isn't this crazy what's going on in our world?
It's nuts. And I'm allergic to nuts.
Yeah. Me too.
That's not true, actually. I'm not allergic to nuts.
Okay, well that's good. That's good too. But man, you're in Toronto? I'm assuming.
I'm at our lake spot, which is about 3 hours northeast of Toronto. Kind of in between your old stomping grounds, Ottawa, and Toronto, actually.
Oh, okay.
This is up in the Hastings Highlands.
Hastings Highlands. Oh, very nice. Very nice. Sounds very nice. Probably a good place to wait out the pandemic.
It is indeed.
Oh boy.
It's actually been we're in a bit of a bubble here because, we spend a lot of time here. I do a lot of writing here. So I'm kind of used to being isolated when we're here.
Yeah.
So we haven't felt this sort of jarring quiet down that people in the cities have felt. It's actually made the whole thing a little less scary, I think, in some ways. My wife went back to Toronto to pick up some things the other day, and she found it quite upsetting.
Yeah, I bet. Just to walk down the street or to drive down the street and see that there's nobody there. Is that what the streets of Toronto are like right now? If you go down Queen Street West, is there nobody on the sidewalk?
Yeah, and even here in this tiny little town of Bancroft, they're taking it very seriously. I had to go in to pick up some groceries, but it's also a little bit freaky.
Yeah. I'm just going to pause for a second, Ed, because your phone's cutting out a little bit. I'll edit this part out right now where I'm saying this. But do you have a landline, or does anyone have?
I don't.
No, okay. Well, we'll just keep going. It's kind of cutting out a little bit, but I'll edit this part out, though. Or if you have an area in the house that you get a little better reception, like if you lean your head against a coat hanger or something.
Yeah,
like
give me 1 second. I'll just wrap all the coat hangers we have around my head and see if that helps.
Absolutely.
I'm going to go upstairs.
Yeah.
and try this.
I might actually leave this part now because I like the coat hanger idea concept. Yeah, I mean,
Well,
it's funny.
I'll try anything if it helps.
It's funny how these cell phones work. I mean, I have one area of my house where I know that it's going to work, and it's sort of a very inconvenient area. I have to go lean against a specific wall in a certain side of the house, so I always end up making my phone calls there. But you're calling me on a...
Yeah, this isn't bad, actually. I'm just in like sort of a handstand with my head behind the toilet, where I get the best reception.
How convenient! Absolutely. Well, that's what it's like when you're up at the lake. It's nice to get away from it. Sometimes it's nice to get away from good cell phone signals and the hustle and bustle of the electronic world that we're living in now. I mean, this is really something, though. How are you? Have you had to cancel shows? I'm assuming you have. You're always touring. Is that a strange thing to not be able to go perform right now?
It is, yeah. We were supposed to be in Birmingham tonight. We had a UK tour, including a sold-out Royal Albert Hall to cap off the UK tour.
Boy. Yeah.
We were so looking forward to getting back there. But yeah, I mean, that has been moved to November, and we're hoping we're back to some sense of normalcy by then. I think our summer tour is kind of up in the air, depending on how your country does over the next couple of months.
Yeah. You're referring to
our summer tour. I think is 37 shows in America and 1 in Canada. So it's largely dependent on how things go down there. Very, very worried for all my friends and people.
Absolutely, yeah. This is nothing. We've experienced nothing like this in our lifetime. Would you agree? This is the biggest, most outrageous, scary thing that's happened in our lifetime.
Yeah, and it's really interesting to consider that it's not a particularly scary disease. You know, the transmission rate is very small, and the fatality rate is extremely low. So it goes to show you, like, if there was to be a more serious disease let loose, some a higher fatality rate, bird flu or something, then it would be deeply scary. But just the data on this disease is scary enough as it is. If we don't do all of these stringent hand washing and social distancing, the numbers could be very bad.
It's amazing that, in a way, let's be thankful that it's not the more contagious, Stephen King, The Stand version of this that hit us first. Maybe this will give us a chance to sort of at least somewhat prepare for the next one, if there is a next one. Were you prepared for this? Do you have, supplies and food, and are you a doomsday prepper, or are you somebody that really had no idea this was coming?
My wife was pretty quick to get in gear and get more prepared. I have to admit that, sadly, as this news was coming to light, I was one of the naysayers saying, come on, it's just a flu, and I don't see what the big deal is. Then I did some reading. I did some, I listened to some podcasts that I really believe in, and I listened to the Sam Harris podcast. I listened to the New York Times podcast, and I got a bunch of good information and realized that it was way more serious than I was writing it off to be.
It's interesting how information is so up for debate in our world now with social media and all the polarization and politics and on Facebook. It's kind of a very dangerous thing because I think there was a lot of people feeling that way. Now they're starting to come around. There's probably still some people feeling that way. Have you noticed on your social media feeds and with all your fans and followers on Instagram and Twitter and elsewhere, where are you noticing a changing attitude towards this?
Well, I think it's a very unsettling and upsetting trend that facts and data are up for debate.
Yeah.
Because they never should be.
Yeah.
You know,
it's not
data
like
is data, and data doesn't lie.
Yeah, it's not like when we were growing up with.
It's very strange that it's been politicized in the way that it has.
Oh yeah, it's not like when we were growing up with Knowlton Nash, right? We had Knowlton Nash on the
You
national.
can trust what Knowlton said.
Yeah, he was our Canadian Walter Cronkite. We had Knowlton Nash and of course Peter Mansbridge, and it was so much simpler when you turned on the news and you knew what was happening and you believed it, and then you planned accordingly.
Plus, because Knowlton Nash had the double alliteration, the double N that made it seem like he probably was also a superhero.
Oh my gosh, Knowlton Nash could be a new Avenger. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Maybe you guys could do a song like "Lying in Bed," just like Knowlton Nash did. Have you been writing a lot of music? I guess is it too early to jump into that mode? But you know, we're looking like we might be in this for the long haul, or at least a few months. Do you have a recording studio at home you can sit in and make music and try to make some sense of this creatively?
I actually don't. I never have. I like working when I'm working and relaxing when I'm not. We were actually right in the middle of making a new record, so we've got like 20 songs on the go that we're trying to see to the finish line. That's, you know, on hold right now. What we have been doing that's been really fun and engaging for us is we've been doing these performances. Actually solicited your help for one of these selfie cam jams that we've been putting together. So it's just, you know, me or one of the other guys just play a song into the selfie cam of our iPhone. Then we send it to the other guys, and then everybody just plays along with it individually, and then we edit them all together. It's been super fun, and it's like the most low-tech version. Like, people are saying, "Oh, what software are you guys using to do that?" Like, there's no lag. It's like, what are you doing? Like, no, it's way more low tech.
Oh, that's cool. That's actually cooler though, because you get a chance to kind of think about each instrument each performer gets to think a little bit about what they're going to play, and then it builds, and you build on top of it. I love that. That's really cool.
Yeah.
So I can play a C blues scale on piano. That's all I can play. So I'll send you a video.
I know that about you.
Yeah, I'll send you a video, sort of a longer video of me playing that, and then if you wanna put something on top of it, that'd be pretty cool. Because if it went the other way around and you sent me something, I wouldn't be able to play on top of it because I don't know how to play the piano.
So what you're suggesting is a selfie cam blues jam.
A selfie cam blues jam, absolutely. I would love that.
And maybe we can submit what we do to the Ottawa Blues Fest, which is a pure. I don't know if people know, but it's a pure blues festival.
Absolutely,
they have only blues artists, hardcore, old school blues artists like
Lady
Foo
Gaga,
Fighters, and Third Eye Blind.
Ottawa's got a big blues scene, so much so that we don't even know what it is. But no, it's a great festival, though. Have you played the Blues Fest?
We had a blast. We did it a couple of years ago and had an absolute blast.
Man, I remember you guys were so kind to me back when I was a kid, when I met you at the Casby Awards, and then we started goofing around, and then you came to Ottawa. The Barenaked Ladies came to Ottawa, and you performed at the Lansdowne Park football stadium. And you let my little rap group open up the show, and I felt like we had made it. We'd made it. We were performing at Lansdowne Park, opening for the Barenaked Ladies, and it was so cool. So thanks for that.
I remember you and what was the other main singer?
Greg, MC Pin, Greg Campbell. Yeah.
Pin.
Yes.
That was it.
Yeah.
You guys rolled up in a freaking Honda Accord or something.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And you were blasting Das Effects.
Oh, yeah.
It's the first time I ever heard that. Rickety row, giggity gadzooks, here I go, so frickety flame on, Geronimo, yo.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, this is the dopest shit I've ever heard.
Yeah, I remember that moment, and that was Greg's Honda Prelude, and he had a good stereo system in it. Remember, he had that bump. He was bumping he had the woofer in the back and everything. And
Yeah.
And I remember the first time I heard Das Effects, it was something new, right? There was something really exciting about that, you know. And you guys always loved rap. You always rap at your shows, and yeah, those were interesting times. Rap was so new then; it was very exciting, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I was huge into rap from the kind of mid to late '80s. So I went to see Public Enemy at Varsity Stadium in Toronto. I think it was the Nation of Millions tour, and Das Effects opened up.
Yeah.
So it was like, I was deep into it at that time, but hearing Das Effects for the first time came out of Pin's Prelude.
Yeah, absolutely. and then it brought us Chicley Chocolate, the Chinese chicken, right? Is that the line?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm Chickadee China, the Chinese chicken.
Chickadee China, the Chinese chicken. That's
certainly,
right. Yeah.
certainly a tip of the hat to Busta Rhymes' Chickadee Choco, the chocolate chicken.
That's right. That is right. Absolutely. I love that. Man, it's amazing. I can't really wrap my head around this. Do you find yourself waking up in the morning times during this pandemic and you sort of forget that it's happened and then you remember it's happened?
Yeah, certainly up here. Like I said, we're used to being isolated up here, so there isn't that extra layer of eeriness. You know, we're able to go out and do all the normal stuff. We're taking our dogs for walks up here because there's nobody else around.
Yeah.
But yeah, you only have to turn on the news for 5 minutes to feel your entire chest tighten up and your brow to furrow. And it's very, very alarming.
What do you think the long-term impact is going to be on the touring business? Because I perform stand-up on tour all the time. My shows are all put on hold, and that's the least of anybody's concern is whether my shows are on hold. But it does affect the society we're living in. We're such a social, and humans are so social, and we love to go to Coachella or the Ottawa Blues Fest or to a Barenaked Ladies show or to a comedy show and be together and celebrate together and blow off steam. Is this going to have some sort of a long-term impact? What do you think is going to happen?
Well, it's going to be really, really hard on all the sort of mid-level to beginning bands, even large touring acts. You know, you saw a very emotional post from, I think it was Chris Stapleton yesterday, that he had to let his crew go. You know, our crew guys have been working for us, some of them since 1991.
Yeah, wow.
You know?
Yeah.
And so I called those guys right away when our tour canceled and when it's looking like our summer tour is up in the air. And I said, look, our priority is to make sure you guys are paid for as long as this takes. So that's a big commitment on our part. We're lucky we can afford to do that. But not everybody can. You know, we have a handful of guys, our stage guys, our lighting guy, our sound guy, our tour manager, our stage manager, monitors, the guitar techs, all those guys are on the payroll with Barenaked Ladies 24/7, whether we're doing shows or not.
Yeah.
So that's, a lot of bands can't absorb that.
Yeah, for sure.
And we're really, really lucky that we can. But I think a lot of bands are really going to suffer through this period.
Is there do you know of any assistance being provided by the Canadian government for artists that need help, or just businesses in general? Your band is a business. There's, of course, so many other types of businesses. Is there some sort of general relief that the government in Canada is providing for people?
The government of Canada has been super proactive both in advocating the social isolation and then actually issuing a strict quarantine order. They've been really good in dealing with the crisis, and they've been really fast in rolling out aid packages for small to medium-sized businesses, for self-employed people. And I don't know if you've been watching any of the Prime Minister's press conferences, but they've actually been pretty great. I'm a fan of his already, but I think he's handling this situation really well. So there are a lot of programs in place already, and I've been really impressed with how the government's handling it. And that's the thing. That's what government is supposed to be for, right? I get so mad when people say things like, well, you can't run a business like that. Like, yeah, it's not a business. Yeah. It's a government. Uh-huh. It is here to help people in need. And that's what a country is. That's what a community is. So I've been super impressed with the reaction so far. Hopefully it'll play out as positively as it seems to be rolling out.
Do you think, on that note, collectively, people of all political leanings and persuasions are going to maybe start to look at the world differently after this, and maybe consider, maybe in the United States as well, consider things like a universal healthcare system, or worrying more about our environment and the climate? Do you think it's possible that there will be some good that will come from this in the long run?
It's definitely possible, and certainly I would hope that is what would happen. But if anything comes of this, I would think one of the main things is that this is going to be a dress rehearsal for something much more serious. And we're going to learn lessons from this, that you have to act much faster. You have to take the recommendations of the scientists seriously far earlier than anybody did in this case. And really, we've got to get back to facts being facts and not politicized opinions up for debate.
Yeah, it's probably the first time that the entire globe, the entire planet, people from all countries have had to fight a common enemy. And maybe that could do something to go a long way towards bringing the world together.
Yeah, you would hope so. I mean, I think people were starting to understand and have a lot of empathy for what they were dealing with in Italy. And then all of a sudden it was also in their own backyard in New York. And so I think it's really brought the problem home for a lot of people. And they've realized that there's less need to be provincial minded or regional minded, if you will, state minded, and realize that there are broader connections that go all the way around the planet. And in fact, despite our nationality, we actually are in this together.
Yeah. You when you made your initial hit song, "If I Had $1 Million," right? When you guys put that song out, and it was on cassette, right? I remember the cassette. It was on a yellow cassette tape, and it was independent. Right. It was an indie cassette. You'd drawn I think it was a flower in a flower pot, kind of wilting. Was that the cover? What was the drawing on the cover?
It was sort of a sandwich with a flowery top to it.
A sandwich with a flowery top, and it was a homemade looking cassette. And I remember seeing it at all the record stores. I don't even remember what the names of the A&A records and tapes or something like that.
Yeah, Sam the Record Man.
Yeah, and I remember seeing that and being sort of amazed and inspired by it, because you guys had written this funny song, this hilarious song, as soon as I heard "But Not a Real Fur Coat That's Cruel," I just thought, this is just mind-blowing. That this is, music is, it's like there's a joke, and then there's a joke about the joke, and it was just so cool. And you guys were in college and traveling around and doing this amazing thing. I mean, do you look back at that sometimes and just think, wow, look what happened. This is incredible, or are you so used to being a worldwide megastar now that you kind of forget about where it started?
Mostly I look back with anger, Tom. I look back with a deep sense of frustration and anger that we weren't bigger stars earlier. No, it's, it was an incredible time. We had an amazing time, and I'm still doing it. Like, what are we, 32 years later, and I'm still in this ridiculous band.
Yeah.
I love it. I actually love it more than ever, because now we get to do what we do kind of with nothing to prove to anybody. My goal now is to just be good, continue to write good songs, do great shows. And, the three people I always want to impress the most are in my band.
Yeah.
And, it's a pretty great place to be.
How are Jim and Tyler and Kevin dealing with this crisis?
Everybody's got different levels of concerns. We're all certainly stressed out, but we've really been leaning on each other. And this fun selfie cam jam project we've been working on with a friend of ours, Edward Pond, who's editing all the stuff together. It's really kept us connected, like multiple times a day, chatting with each other and just discussing what kind of fun ideas we could do next. So that's been nice. It's been nice to have that contact with each other. But, everybody has their own concerns. Tyler's wife, Jill, unfortunately, has already lost an uncle to COVID-19.
Wow.
Kevin has a daughter with special needs who is particularly vulnerable at this time. It's like everybody's got their stresses and their concerns. So we're all really just trying to lean on each other and help each other through to the other side of it. Like I said, we're super fortunate in that the financial part of it is not a huge stress for us because we're just really lucky that way. We worked really hard to have this great career. But we can feel those stresses, like from the people we work with, or from our crew, from all the people around us. So it's just, I've been reaching out to friends from our record company and other musicians that I love and collaborate with. And it's just one of those things that it makes you realize it's not enough to just send flippant texts and memes. You got to make contact and let people know you're thinking about them and bond with like how you're getting through this really strange time. So I've been trying to put a lot of energy into that, into just like actually reaching out to people and FaceTiming people I normally would only send a flippant text to.
Right. Right. All of a sudden,
I think everybody's feeling distant.
Yeah, we're picking up the phone and calling people now, and people are answering because they're home doing nothing. So it's a nice way to. It's a good way to get back in touch with friends. A good pandemic really kind of brings people together. Of course, I'm being stupid there, but. I'm actually been asked by an organization called Music Cares. It's a charitable organization being put together by Linda Perry, who I'm sure you probably know. And I'm going to be phoning in or doing a phone-in show for them on Fridays soon. But if you'd like to,
great!
If you'd like,
I've done a ton of work for Music Cares over the years.
Yeah.
It's the charitable arm of up here, Caris, and down there, I guess it's the Academy of Recording Arts and Science.
Yeah.
But yeah, they do incredible work up here in Canada. They get instruments in schools, in public schools, and they help out musicians that maybe don't have the kind of savings and insurance they need to cover bills. So yeah, fantastic organization.
Yeah. And finally, the probably the thing that we really want to get back to when this is all over is we want to get back to the Burger's Priest.
Oh, yes.
We have to get back to the Burgers Priest. Ed was
We'll
nice.
always have the Burgers Priest, Tom.
We will
You and
always
I.
have the Burgers Priest. Ed was nice enough to bring me out for a delicious. Can I say the secret menu item, or is that just the top secret menu item? The
Oh no, I think you should. It's
the high priest.
Well, mine is. Yeah.
The high priest.
Now I go with a different one now.
Oh.
The high priest, which is basically like it's God's Big Mac.
Yeah.
Right. It's now they have something they call the double low priest.
Ooh, whoa! What's
That's the high priest.
Yeah.
Identical, but no middle bun.
Oh, okay. So a little less carbs.
So
but
you get the double patty, the double cheese, the special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun, but no middle bun to make it a triple stack. So you knock 1/3 of the carbs out.
Yeah.
It's a little more meaty, and it's absolutely the way to go.
The High Priest, Toronto burger franchise. I guess there's 3 of them in the city, or 2 of them in the city. We went to one on.
Yeah, they're growing. There's a Burgers Priest up in Barrie now.
Oh my gosh!
Stop on your way up to 400.
My mom's from Barrie. Amazing. Yeah, so it's an.
Your mom's named Barrie, actually.
My mom's name is Barrie, actually. Yeah, she doesn't even know that. Well, Ed, thank you so much for calling. I appreciate it, and I'm sure I know my listeners definitely appreciate it. All the best to your fellow bandmates, and yeah, I'm gonna send you my C blues scale on a video of that, and let's jam, man. Let's jam during this crazy time.
All right, man.
All
Thanks for your help with our soon-to-be-released selfie cam jam. People will see you.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Okay, well, be safe, my friend. It's always good talking to you.
You too, Tom.
And we'll talk again soon. All right? Love you, man.
All right. Call me anytime. See ya.
All right. Thanks, Ed. Bye. Thanks so much, Ed. That was super cool. So much fun to be able to talk to my friend Ed. We had burgers in Toronto at the High Priest burger at the Burgers Priest. You got to try these burgers if you're ever in Toronto. This is not a paid endorsement. Thanks for following along with my Instagram stories. I can't wait for you to see what I've got coming right around the corner here. Building a TV studio to start streaming television visuals of this podcast. The Tom Green Podcast will be streaming soon to a theater near you or to a web channel of some sort near you. So I'm looking forward to it. I've been plugging in cables all day. I went out to the garage. I said, geez, I wonder if I have any HDMI to SDI converters. And sure enough, I had 4 of them. I said to myself, geez, I wonder if I have any BNC cable. And guess what? I had a box full of the stuff. I said, I wonder if I have any cameras. I have 3 amazing cameras. I have more, but I have 3 that match. They've got nice big lenses on them. And they're on tripods now. And I'll be plugging them into a switcher very soon. And we're going to be doing multi-camera Webo-vision, just like the good old days, right here on top of this podcast. So stay tuned for that. In the meantime, tell all your friends on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook to listen to this show, to subscribe, and to tell their friends, and have them tell their friends, and their friends tell their friends, and their friends tell their friends, and so on, and so on, and so on. Just like the shampoo commercial. Just like the shampoo commercial. All right, guys. Thank you. I love you all. Be well. Be safe. Good night.